Happening Now Election 2022 is in the books. We're recapping races here at home.
I think we've got important things to address here.
Across the state.
Because of all of you will keep making progress, breaking down barriers, breaking glass ceilings, helping workers.
And around our region, which many have a big impact on the balance of power in D.C.
Live and on demand from the team that puts coverage first. WNY News Now, election coverage.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Kathy Hochul won a first full term in office as New York's governor on election night. Hochul defeated Republican Lee Zeldin in what developed into a surprisingly tense race in its final weeks. Already the first woman to hold the governor's office in New York, Hochul will now become the first to win it in an election. Her victory keeps New York Democrats on track to maintain their now nearly 2-decade-old winning streak in statewide elections. Our state capitol correspondent Elise Klein has more on what was likely the biggest race in the Empire State.
Well, happy post-election day from the state capitol here in Albany. The excitement continues as we continue to cover the statewide races. Last night, the poll numbers came in pretty quickly. There are over 14,000 election districts to report votes to the New York State Board of Elections. And last night, Kathy Hochul appeared to be in the lead throughout the evening, according to the numbers from the New York State Board of Elections. And around midnight, she declared victory.
I'm not here to make history. I'm here to make a difference. Because of all of you will keep making progress, breaking down barriers, breaking glass ceilings, helping workers achieve the greatness that it is capable of. And I will lead with strength and compassion, not with fear and anger. And together, we'll put our values to work. Lift up all and leave no one behind. We'll build a state where families can afford to raise their children. We'll create good-paying jobs in Long Island, the city, the Hudson Valley, the North Country, and Hochul, and the Southern Tier. We'll do all that, create good-paying jobs. Also, keep in mind, they deserve safe, affordable housing, because that's one of their rights. And make sure that all of our kids will succeed in school and achieve their full potential and live in communities without fear, have the safety to walk the streets and take our subways without illegal guns on our streets.
Now, the New York State Board of Elections emphasizes on their website that all the poll numbers reported to the New York State Board of Elections are unofficial. New York State election law requires a complete recanvass of all votes on Election Day and all absentee, special, and provisional ballots before any election results can be certified. And in a general election, it can take up to 25 days to certify the results of an election. For WNY News, I'm Elise Klein.
Elise, thank you. Meanwhile, Lee Zeldin spoke following Governor Hochul's victory speech. He did not exactly concede, though. Take a listen.
There's a piece of this story that is still to be told. There's over 1.4 million Election Day votes that are still out. So there's this, it's going to be a little frustrating for the members of the media who didn't want us ever to be in contention here in New York.
Now, when we break down the vote tally, Hochul won over 52% of the vote statewide compared to Zeldin's 46%. In rural counties like Chautauqua County, the Long Island Congressman was the favorite here, winning 64% of votes to Hochul's 34% locally. Well, Republican Nick Langworthy has been declared the victor in the race for New York State's 23rd congressional seat in Congress, with Democrat opponent Max de la Pia conceding. Our Bronson Rasmussen joins me now live at the news desk with more on this congressional race. And Bronson, it really was an exciting night in Buffalo for you as things developed pretty quickly.
That's true, Justin. Just minutes after the polls closed, Langworthy took to the stage at the Republican headquarters in downtown Buffalo to declare his victory over Max Delapia.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first step. We have so much work ahead of us. January 3rd, I'll be sworn into Congress, and a new era of leadership starts in this country. We will make you proud. We will restore this congressional district to the esteem that the people of Western New York and the Southern Tier deserve. That I promise you.
The now Congressman-elect entered the national political spotlight in 2016 when he joined then-President Donald Trump's transition team. In Congress, the Chautauqua County native has one major directive.
Talk is cheap, but this country needs action. And tonight I will pledge to the people of the 23rd Congressional District that I will work with anyone in Washington, D.C. who is committed to a common sense agenda that puts America back on track for Western New York and the Southern Tier.
In the end, chairman of the Tioga County Democratic Committee and 30-year veteran of the United States Air Force, Max Delapia, conceded the race to Langworthy.
I want to thank all the voters who trusted me with their vote. While I regret not being able to serve you in Congress, I can assure you the effort to run was worth it.
Langworthy will represent New York's 23rd Congressional District, currently held by Joe Sempolenski, who won a special election after former Congressman Tom Reed resigned. Sempolenski defeated Delapia for that seat back in late August.
Yeah, and the congressional race here really does have a lot of impact. And we've been talking about that nationwide, about which way that will sway. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was the redistricting process here in Western New York. Sempolenski is currently serving out the remainder of the old 23rd Congressional District, which expanded more out towards the east, where now this modified district, which has been changed following this legal battle that we saw back in June, which led to that primary being moved to August, and that now forms up into the Buffalo area, which we saw that influence tonight in simply the location taking place in Buffalo, which before, for the most part, with previous Congressman Tom Reed, he didn't campaign really anywhere outside of Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, and then out eastward into Steuben and the Elmira area. So it's interesting to see that Republican stronghold still continues, even though you get more of that urban environment.
It doesn't even just have to be with Republicans. Max Delapia was up by Buffalo election night as well.
Right, exactly. But nevertheless, it wasn't enough to rally any sort of Democratic votes. So the influence of the southern section of Buffalo, greater area, seems to not impact that district, and it looks like it could continue as a stronghold. And one of the aspects of the primary, if we remember, was Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, the southern tier, came and supported Langworthy to get him actually on the Republican ticket. And, as we continue to break down the voting data over the next few days, I wouldn't be surprised if that continued tonight, being a Chautauqua County native.
That probably is what led him to declare his victory so early coming election night.
Right, feeling the strong pulse of that, and then, being able to rely on some of that exit polling data. Bronson, thank you so much for joining me at the desk after a late night for the both of us. I appreciate you coming on and giving us this update.
Well, it's election night. It's when we have the most fun.
Yes, it is. It is the Super Bowl of local news, and there is still so much election news to cover. And a big aspect of it is two longtime local representatives in Albany. They were reelected last night as well. Our Alyssa Wright hears from State Senator George Borrello and Assemblyman Andy Goodell.
I'm here at the GOP headquarters in Chautauqua County, where just last night, two candidates were reelected and they're on their way back to Albany. Assemblyman Andy Goodell and Senator George Borrello announced their victories in speeches of gratitude and enthusiasm for getting back to work.
We have 5 counties that we represent now, and 2 of them are new, Genesee and Wyoming. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in the 57th Senate District. Thank you for choosing me to serve you in the Senate, and I look forward to going back to Albany.
Now, what does it mean for you to be headed back to Albany?
Well, I think we've got important things to address here. Crime being number one, I think the people of New York have spoken. We are going to be sending back more Republicans in the Senate and the Assembly. And I think that means that the Democrats should understand that their pro-criminal policies are just not supported by the people of New York State. And we need to have change, and we need to come together and hopefully address the things that are most important, number one being public safety.
As we look forward to the next year, I look forward to working with all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to try to address what's really on the top of a lot of people's minds and what we can do to bring energy costs down. I hope that includes responsible development of our natural resources here in the southern tier. Also, we need to obviously address the catch and release, no bail provisions. Senator Breaux and I have introduced legislation to address that, and we hope that this election will send a strong message to both parties that we need to be sensitive about crime and the importance of safe communities.
Reporting from Mayville, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, he's won re-election as well. Schumer has defeated Republican opponent Joe Pinion. He is currently the Senate Majority Leader, but could lose his position if Republicans regain control of the Senate. This will be Schumer's 5th term in office. Now, other races of note here, New York Attorney General Letitia James and State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli were also re-elected. Well, Democrat John Fetterman is the projected winner of the Pennsylvania State Senate race, defeating Trump-backed Republican Mehmet Oz. Fetterman will succeed retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey, flipping a seat in favor of Democrats. This is a crucial win for the Democratic Party, seeking to maintain control of the U.S. Senate. Fetterman's Pennsylvania lieutenant governor, he's been Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor since 2019, and he stayed in this race despite suffering a stroke back in May. His victory came despite having to scale back some of the campaigning while recovering from that medical issue. The stroke often limits Fetterman's ability to speak, and some feared his less than optimal performance in his debate with Oz would have hurt his chances. Certainly did not last night. As we continue, we're taking a look at some other headlines around our area today, including the latest on a cityscape illumination project here in Jamestown. And we're also looking at a first of its kind program in our region, which could be a game changer to local law enforcement, trying to crack down on those who might be driving under the influence of THC. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, the temperatures so far this month have been above average. Have you noticed? Take a look at the average temperatures here on the temperature map. All the days that are shaded in orange are days where the high temperature has been above the average for the date. And take a look at this, 11.6 degrees above normal, just about 8 days into November. And so now understand, this is still early in November, so this will likely change, but it's very interesting when you think about how warm it has been this month so far, but that's going to be changing. But today, enjoy it while you got it. Another day of bright sunshine. You've earned it. A warmer day, 56, 64 with a south wind. Now, the pattern flips as we go into the weekend. I will talk about that along with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. A project to eliminate Jamestown cityscape is complete. Mayor Eddie Sundquist is hosting a Flip the Switch celebration to cap off the Riverwalk illumination project. This effort installed multicolored lights at several notable locations across town, including here at Jamestown City Hall. In addition, other notable landmarks like the Jamestown BPU coal silo, Washington Street Bridge piers, and the Main Street Bridge arches over the Chattacoin River are also illuminated. The Flip the Switch celebration is open to the public. It kicks off on Thursday at 4:30 in the afternoon at Panzarella Park. That's on West 2nd Street along the Jamestown Riverwalk. Well, law enforcement in Warren County, Pennsylvania, close to us, they will be piloting a marijuana breathalyzer technology to detect THC. It's a partnering with Canadian-based Cannabix Technology, which will provide 2 handheld units like this to police before the end of the year. Now, police will be able to use this technology for about 3 months. The breathalyzer can collect breath samples when a driver is stopped and suspected of having used cannabis. The samples are then sent to a designated laboratory to be processed. In Pennsylvania, people cannot get behind the wheel of a vehicle if any marijuana is in their blood. A person who is completely sober but legally used marijuana in the weeks before are driving illegally under current state law there. Well, while the fall harvest season has concluded, local agricultural leaders are rallying together to discuss ideas for next year's crop. The Cornell Cooperative Extension and Small Business Development Center at SUNY JCC, they're hosting an agricultural forum later this month as part of a networking opportunity. Among topics up for discussion include climate change, industry success stories, and what agro-businesses are doing to grow through innovation. Participants will also have the opportunity to help shape the future of agriculture in Chautauqua County as the lead organizations gather feedback for future programming to better serve the agricultural community. Now, registration is required for the Wednesday, November 30th event, which takes place at SUNY JCC from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. We have a link with more at WNYNewsNow.com. The Chautauqua County Humane Society, they are celebrating our veterans in the community with a Red, White, and Mew campaign. It's all part of a patriotic promotion where adoption fees are being waived on animals 1 year and older for veterans and is half for animals under 1 year old. To get even more animals home, the nonprofit is also offering half off adoptions on all their animals over 1 year old throughout the month of November to anybody in the community, whether you're a vet or not. The Red, White, and Mew campaign continues now through November 30th. Find all available animals and the adoption application posted online at chqhumane.org. Dakota's back right after this with a check of our weather forecast. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
There are two silver linings here. One, that no injuries were reported, and two, they were able to contain the fire from spreading further.
Western New York has a new congressional member representing them.
One of the things that made Betty White so unique was the fact that she connected generations of fans throughout the decades. Take a look at the display here.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes: Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense weather.
Well, welcome back. I wanted to show you the real seasons of Western New York. This is an old graphic that we showed, I think, at the beginning of the winter last year, but wanted to bring it back because this is kind of where we're at right here. We're in that end of the second summer going into actual fall, but actually actual fall is not going to last very long because we're going to go here by the weekend, and you're going to see that as we take a look at the 7-day a little bit later on. Now, the National Weather Service in Buffalo is still looking for a volunteer to take over the Silver Creek Co-op station. So if you live in Silver Creek or you have friends or family in Silver Creek or nuts about the weather and want to get involved, contact the National Weather Service, 716-565-0204, or email Dan Kelly at dan.kelly@noaa.gov. You'll be provided with a free rain gauge and snow stick to take daily rain and snowfall measurements. So that's important for Silver Creek. So just keep that in mind. We're still looking for a volunteer for that. The next weather maker is actually twofold. We have one rain coming our way on Friday. So dry today and tomorrow, no rain, lots of sunshine. Now, the rain on Friday is going to be twofold. It's one, a strong cold front approaching out of the west, and two, the remnants of Nicole as it works up the northeast coast later in the week. We could see some of the rainfall from that on Friday. And again, it's tropical rain, so it could be heavy at times. Then as the cold front sweeps through, yeah, we're going to be talking about cold air and snow by the time we head into the weekend. The Section 6 championship game is Friday at Highmark Stadium. Jamestown is taking on Williamsville North at 9 o'clock. So if you're heading up to the game, there will be rain showers you will have to contend with. So you will have to bring the rain gear. 55 at kickoff, 54 at halftime, and 53 by the fourth quarter. And the tickets are $10. You can purchase them online. So here's the newest runner future scan, not showing you anything for today. Maybe a few high clouds from time to time. That's it. Otherwise, lots of sunshine, blue skies, and clear skies into tonight. We're going to keep this going into tomorrow. So tomorrow is basically just a rinse and repeat day. Although we get a little bit warmer, temperatures go up to almost 70 in some spots tomorrow, and you can see here just lots of sunshine here tomorrow. Clouds thicken up Thursday night into Friday ahead of the two storm systems before they ultimately merge off the northeast coast. The day planner for tomorrow, we start around 37 with clear skies, 64 at noon. Bright sunshine takes us through the day. We should top out in the mid-60s. Now the next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So we're up to almost 70 on Thursday. Friday, again, we are going to see the influx of the cold front and the rain from the remnants of Nicole. Temperatures go way down on Saturday, 41 and falling, 33 on Sunday with scattered lake effect rain and snow showers. We'll keep it going into Monday, but at least on Tuesday we dry out as temperatures return back, Justin, into the mid-40s.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. We'll be right back after this.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
Police and other local law enforcement agencies are looking for the person responsible for a shooting.
One of the benefits of this new feature is it not only works with the newer parking meters that the city's been rolling out, but these traditional meters as well.
From muddy trails to slick cliff edges to structures that have fallen into disrepair, these are just some of the problems that this park faces.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. I'm Patrick Smeraldo, and I need your help to get there. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes: Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Harrison's Playmakers is a non-profit launched by former Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to connect kids with disabilities in sports. Furthermore, donations for this 3-day hike will also benefit CASA of Chautauqua County and the Stone family. We're assisting local foster care children during National Adoption Month. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
No. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Well, nearly half of the U.S. is already experiencing a flu surge this fall. 17 states and Washington, D.C. and New York City are reporting high or very high respiratory illness activities. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says this flu season is hitting the nation harder and earlier than in previous years. According to the CDC, there have been more than 1.5 million illnesses and 730 deaths from the flu so far. Influenza activity is the highest in the South, with the Mid-Atlantic not far behind. Well, a rare late-season storm, the kind not one seen in decades, is on the verge of hitting Florida, where many are still struggling to recover from Hurricane Ian. Right now, Tropical Storm Nicole is forecast to strengthen before making landfall around Florida's east coast sometime later today and or into tomorrow. Mike Valero has the latest for us.
Winds are picking up in Florida as the Sunshine State braces for what could become a Category 1 hurricane. Tropical Storm Nicole is gaining strength and is expected to make landfall north of West Palm Beach early Thursday morning, bringing torrential rain and sustained winds of at least 74 miles per hour.
This could lead to flooding over roadways, rendering them impassable.
The National Hurricane Center issuing a storm surge watch for much of Florida's east coast and parts of Georgia and South Carolina. And as Floridians hunker down for a wet and windy week, long lines at the gas pumps and grocery stores packed with shoppers as residents frantically fill up on supplies.
They're out of water, out of the cased water.
This latest system comes as many communities are still reeling from Hurricane Ian, which slammed into Florida's west coast less than 2 months ago as a Category 4 hurricane. The powerful storm killing at least 130 people in Florida and decimating several neighborhoods along the west coast and central part of the state. Residents are still trying to pick up the pieces, and now they're bracing for another storm. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
All right, Jen Sullivan there for us. Jen, thank you. Well, a gas station owner in California is now a millionaire after someone bought that winning Powerball ticket at his shop. Joe Shahade owns Joe's Service Center in Altadena, California. He sold the record $2 billion ticket in Monday night's drawing. State lottery officials presented Shahade and his two sons with $1 million check on Tuesday for selling the winning ticket. Shahade came to the United States from Syria in 1980 and had just $14,000 to his name at the time. He says he worked hard to build this business over the last 20 years and is now repaying a huge reward here. Shahade says he plans to share the winnings with his family, which include 11 grandchildren. Well, certainly that's such a great effect. And I never knew that the store owners get paid a little bit from the Lottery Association. I mean, I suppose you get a commission, right? That's kind of the same aspect of it. Well, that is going to do it for our newscast today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNY News Now. WNY.com and on our free mobile app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, live at noon.